I'm David Bank with Impact Alpha. I'm here with Chad Sachs, the director of the Lirio Fund, a project of NEST based in Lima, Peru.
That's right.
Give us the basics on the Lirio Fund.
The Lirio Fund really tries to provide loans to marginalized populations in rural areas of Peru, Colombia, and Brazil. And we've been doing it for the last 5 years, and it's been great. It has not been an easy time to invest, and yet the resilience and the creativity of the entrepreneurs in the region have been incredible. We're continuing trying to back them and support them in particularly areas that are in the Amazon or bordering the Amazon.
And what kind of entrepreneurs, what kind of ventures are we talking about?
Most of them are in agriculture. So it's for-profit companies that have light industrial processing plants, or it's cooperatives, associations that are really trying to bring smallholder farmers, vulnerable communities together and enhance their ability to access foreign markets, to access better technical assistance and financing that really helps them grow more rapidly.
And what is the gap? I mean, why weren't they getting capital from the local bank or somebody else that was already there? What are you?
There's a perceived risk, particularly in agriculture. Agriculture is a volatile sector, no question. There's commodity prices, and you're vulnerable to world movements. But at the same time, there's a stability, and a lot of them have invested a lot of time in both their organizations and in their product, where they, especially in Peru and Colombia, coffee, cocoa, fruits and vegetables, where there's a moss company, Brazil nuts, are very attractive in the international market. And so banks have been scared to invest in them. Some impact investors have shied away from them because the typical loan size is small. They need, between $100,000 and $500,000. A lot of impact investors want to go in when it's over $2-3 million. And so that missing middle continues to really struggle to have access to capital. And that's what we're trying to bridge.
Now you guys must face all those same risks. You have weather risk, climate risk, currency risk. You also have to have these transaction costs. How do you overcome the problems that bedevil everybody else?
So far, there's a couple different things. One is the companies themselves are immature, and that's part of the risk. And I think we have an acceleration program at NEST, but there's a lot of good organizations that are bringing that technical assistance that's critical. And I'm hoping the overall community realizes that assistance is essential. A lot of it's funded with philanthropic capital, but that combined with financing really can take away some of those risks, improving financial management, improving customer diversification, market strategies, all of that can improve. The other aspects, climate change is one we just have to deal with, and there's efforts to make more adaptive, using different inputs, different products to try to deal with the climate change. But that is definitely a challenge. So far, people are paying. So far, the loans are being repaid, people are growing, sales are growing, but it's not easy. And that it takes patience, and it takes the investment community that is supporting us.
I imagine one of the other risks that's maybe emerged since you started is interest rates. And how does that affect your business?
Well, unfortunately, interest rates have risen considerably, and so all these companies that had difficulty accessing capital for it, now it's even worse. And so our type of capital has been even more competitive and more helpful. The flip side is our investors that have lent to our fund, they have been fairly reasonable so far. They've kept their capital at the levels that it was about a year and a half ago. It's gone up some, definitely with interest rates, but so far most of our investors, which are family offices, Inter-American Development Bank, DFIs, have said they're trying not to push those interest rate rises onto areas that really require concessionary capital or impact first type of capital. And I think that's a real tribute to the commitment that we see from impact investors.
Now, there's been a lot of talk about getting capital closer to the ground and to capital providers that are more local. You're an American living in Lima. Why is that the right way to go?
No, it's a really good question. Our team, except for me, is all Peruvians. I do think that local touch is important. When we do due diligence, we're always visiting these sites. Post-disbursement, we're visiting these sites. Often, even for the impact measurement, we have to do interviews. And just to call people up is not possible. When you're talking about people in the Amazon, it's very hard to organize good interviews to get the impact metrics we need and the information. So we go out and visit them. On our acceleration side, we're organizing events that are in those cities and in those events. And so I think that's absolutely critical. NEST, we're trying to train and we're trying to hire more people local from those countries to run the implementation of our programs. And that's a process and a transition, and that's definitely an important goal.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much, Chad Sachs of NESsT and the Lirio Fund.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Really appreciate the time. Thank you very much.